Sometimes great photos just turn out bad, but that's okay. There are some tools in Lightroom that can help you out. Now, that is what this episode is about. It's the first of 4 episodes I'm going to do on some of the tools in Lightroom to help bring out the best in your images. Now, this is also going to be a follow along episode, which means I'm going to give all of you a copy of the image that I'm going to be developing. All you have to do is go out to patreon.com/EWJ. Click join for free, enter in an email address and give it a password, and you're done. Look for the posting from June 2nd, 2024, and you'll be able to download the mule photo that I'm going to be developing. Now, of course, guys, you got to understand something here. I've already uploaded this photo to be sold as stock photography. So I did watermark it, because I can't let you guys upload it. But anyhow, there's enough information there, and also the watermarks are out of the area that we're going to be working on, so you shouldn't have any issues. So this guy is the subject of our photo today. Now, I took this when I was up at the Grand Canyon with my wife. We were kind of walking around Grand Canyon Village, was up by the mule barn, and this guy came up to say hi to us. So I quickly took a shot of him. But you know what? There's something I just didn't quite notice. You see it? Okay, here, let me help you out. Yeah, right there. Okay. Apparently he had a little something in his eye. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this photo, even if it is accepted as stock photography, probably is not going to make too many sales with that gunk coming out of his eye. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore the healing tool in Lightroom to see if we can fix this. So let's first of all head on over here, and we are going to click on the healing tool. Now there's 3 different options. We're going to start with the middle, which is the healing tool. Now the healing tool is going to try to match the texture, lighting, and the shadows of where you're trying to correct using data from another part of the image. Now we do have a couple of options here. You can of course change the size of the area that you're going to be working with. I can also hold down the control key and roll my mouse wheel. You might also notice that there is 2 circles in there. The inner circle is where you're going to have a 100% application of the new data. Outside the outer ring is going to be untouched, and in between those 2 circles, it's going to gradually do a transition. That way, you don't have any sharp edges in the transition, which is really going to make it look bad. So let's see what happens when we apply this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these areas here, which seem to have the most offensive matter in it. And what you can see is it selected an area over here that is outside of where it is that we are going to, where we would pull information from. That's way in the background. So I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to move it over here. And it's not too terribly bad. It's not too terribly bad at all. Let's go ahead and deselect the healing tool. And wow, you know what? That was actually really good. Man, I tell you what, I am going to regret doing this, but I'm actually going to turn this off or delete this, and we're going to try some of the other tools, but that was actually one of the better replacements that this thing has done. All right, so let's go back in here. I am going to delete that one out so we can explore some of the other tools at our disposal. All right, so next up, we're going to do the cloning tool. Now, with the healing tool, it tried to match the lighting, texture, and shades of the area we're applying to. The cloning tool does a complete clone of another part of the image. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and select this area right here again, and let's see what the cloning tool comes up with. Now, once again, the cloning tool grabbed another part of the image that's just not going to work for us. And you can see it's trying to do a 100% replacement, which really in this case is not going to go over very well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit delete, get rid of that. And we're going to go over here to the context aware healing tool. Now let's see what we can do with this one. Again, I'm going to select that area and let it try to figure out what it is I want to get rid of. Now, the thing I don't like about the context aware healing tool in this image is look at all that weird red stuff it put in there. Now, what I could do is I can click on refresh, And when I do, that's going to recalculate that area. And I'm going to click refresh here a few times, but it's still not going to get it right. So it looks like the healing tool in this scenario is probably going to be our best bet. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the context aware healing area. And let's go back in and try something else here. Now, granted, yeah, the healing tool did work pretty well that first time around. But let's say, for example, it doesn't. Because sometimes when you take that big of a swath of data, it just doesn't work well. So here's a little trick you can pull. So I'm only going to do smaller areas. So we're going to start up in here. Let me shrink down my selected area, and I'm only going to work in this part right here, which has darker air. Essentially this area right in here is going to have a little bit of a darker feel to it. So we're just going to work with just this part of the image. So right here, let's see what happens. Now again, this one's selected an area that's not quite going to work for us. So let's see what happens here. Little bit better, but I think that's just a little bit too dark. I may have selected a little bit. Yeah, I think I did a little bit too far down. Let's see what happens here. No, actually I did not do too badly. But it does look like the eye kind of droops there a little bit. So let's try this one more time. I'm going to select an even smaller area this time. So we're just going to go right here. Oh yeah, that is a bit more natural looking. Okay, let's keep going. So I'm going to grab this next area that's kind of a little bit lighter. And we're just going to select in here and see what happens. Now this is pulling an area where the hairs aren't quite going in the same direction. So I'm going to move the sample data over to here. And not quite, it's a little too blurry. Let's try it right over here, see if we get something a little bit better. Almost. We need to get those hairs to point down just a little bit more. Okay, let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, that is so much better. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the different areas where we need to be making changes, and we also have to keep in mind what's in the background, the direction of the hair, how bright it is, so we don't go with hair heading in one direction and then also hair going in another direction. I want to try and make this a little bit easier for the Lightroom engine to work. So here we go. Let's try right in this area. Right here. Now again, anytime I can switch to any of the other healing tools in case the area I'm working, the normal healing tool isn't working, I can try the others. That one worked well. All right, so I'm going to try right through here. Now this area here has kind of bright hair to it. Let's see what it comes up with. Not too certain about that. Let's try this area here one more time. Okay, that could work. Let's go ahead and try this right here. It's a little bit of a darker area. And not quite right. Well, I can't really see where this is sampling data from. So I'm going to go up over here to the navigation window. And I'm going to kind of pull that down until I can see, oh yeah, that one definitely pulled data from the wrong spot. We're going to move it up here and get that information a little bit closer to the area that's in focus. I may have selected way too much data on this one, but let's see what we can do here. All right, actually, that's not too bad there. All right, let's turn that off. Bingo. Take a look at that. So pretty much what we were able to accomplish here, we were able to get rid of a lot of the, let's just say, nasty stuff coming out of that mule's photo. We rescued the photo, so now what I can do is I can continue editing it and get it uploaded so it can be sold as stock photography. So I hope you guys like this episode. This is a lesson. Remember that next week we're going to be doing a lesson on intersecting masks and another photo as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you all next week.